Connor Daly says, I'm gone, let's go. And the doubleheader is underway here in Iowa. Last night, who will do it tonight? It's a couple of Penske's up front. Tony Kanaan goes down low, couldn't quite get through on Colton Herter.
Hello Indycar fans, welcome to Formula Pun Racer. Today is August 1st, 2020. Boy, are you anxious for the next round of races to occur in mid-Ohio after the doubleheader at Iowa 2 weeks ago? I sure am. But before I get on to that, I'd like to follow up from my last video where it is said that Sergio Perez will miss out on the British Grand Prix this weekend because he's been tested positive for COVID-19. So who's going to replace him at Racing Point, you ask? I found out that it's Germany's Nico Hülkenberg coming out of retirement to take over racing duties from the Mexican. I also forgot to mention until now that all races that were planned in Canada, the United States, Brazil, and Mexico this year have been cancelled because of the pandemic. Yeah, it's unfortunate. On top of that, it is said though that there'll be 3 of these races will be replaced by a return to Imola on November 1st at San Marino, Nürburgring, Germany, and Portimao in Portugal. So for the first time since the mid-90s, Formula One is returning to Portugal. Isn't that cool? Oh! In other news, to get back to IndyCar racing, I can say that it was amazing that early this week, NASCAR driver Jimmie Johnson test drove an IndyCar for Chip Ganassi at the IMS road course, and he says he is just so anxious to keep at it. Since this is his final year in NASCAR, I hope coming to IndyCar racing and with Honda power is a possibility in the next year or the year after. And can he win the Indy 500? I sincerely hope so. With him going to IndyCar in a Honda powered car, I don't think should be a problem with Chevy if he's retiring from NASCAR, even though Jimmie Johnson has raced in NASCAR nothing but Chevys his entire NASCAR career. But who knows if Chevy will have a gripe about that or not. Just like Fernando Alonso being problematic with Honda. In fact, as for Fernando Alonso's one-race deal with McLaren Chevy at Indianapolis this August, it is said that while he'll be driving a Chevy-powered McLaren team car, he'll be having the same sponsor that took his Andretti Autosport teammate Takuma Sato in 2017 to victory at Indianapolis. Ruoff Mortgage is coming on board to sponsor Fernando Alonso. Now, in other racing news, it's unfortunate to say that because of the pandemic, I was originally planning to go to the Indy 500 this August, but unfortunately, the fact that now that the amount of spectators they're allowing into the speedway have been cut down to a maximum of 25% from 50%, and I've decided it's just going to be too hot for me, and I don't feel like running the risk of catching the pandemic myself, so I made the difficult decision recently to not go to the Indy 500 this year.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm really upset about this because of the doggone COVID-19. But I have made a credit so I can go for 2021, assuming it can get back in order. I'm not happy about this either. I was hoping it wouldn't be, but the searing heat is, well, I don't know if I can handle it. But I certainly will be watching the race at home from my hometown you see right here. Good old Media, PA. Hello, all media citizens, if you're watching this. Now to get on with the highlights of the Iowa doubleheader. Once again, though, if you're an anti-Penske fan like me, it is unfortunate that for the outcome of both Iowa races, it was a double whammy because Penske won both races, and it's a pie in the face for us all. Yep, the Penske is indeed mightier than the sword. Yep, it's amazing. While Connor Daly started on pole for the first of those 2 races, Simon Pagenaud of France, last year's Indy 500 winner who started dead last, managed to worm his way all the way up from last to take the win in the race. So who would have thought that would have been possible from him? And the fact that Will Power was contesting as well as Newgarden for the lead at first, but then Daly's eventually dropped back and lost contention. But as for the third Penske driver, Will Power of Australia, well, last night wasn't his luckiest, wasn't it? And for those who doubted the aeroscreen's use and while the drivers think it's miserably hot, this night had proven its use in keeping the drivers safe, as we see here.
Hey, where'd that wheel come from?
That's where the wheel went, Buddy Hackett, right over him. And once again, the aeroscreen proved its effect once more between Dutchman Rinus VK and Colton Herta here. Boy, was that close that he almost got tangled up in the fence there, just like Robert Wickens at Pocono back in 2018, or Kenny Brackett, Texas in 2003. But you know, with that said, now that the aeroscreen had proved its use, they might as well go back to Pocono Raceway, because when all is said and done with what happened last year and the year before, and with Justin Wilson getting fatally killed there at Pocono, I was at that race when he died, by the way. You have to admit one thing. It's not Pocono's fault. Because, to be honest, all that you saw here, and what happened to Wilson and Weldon, it could have happened anywhere else. It could have easily happened at Indianapolis, at Long Beach. So they might as well race at Pocono, or they might as well race at Daytona. And if they're so chicken about the banking or whatnot, then just use the Roval course. That should slow the cars down enough, and I think we'd be in for a treat to see Indy cars go to Daytona, because with IndyCar, with the NASCAR races at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, they might as well do vice versa by letting Indy cars race at Daytona. Yeah, I know they did that back in the late 50s and it was pretty fatal, but hey, with the improvements in safety that we have nowadays, I don't see how that could possibly be a problem now. So, IndyCar and Daytona, I say you get talking with each other, and I say have IndyCar race at Daytona once more if you're going to have NASCAR race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.